What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. It's time for the hardest level in the game, kalinatek. And this first thing you gotta do is very tricky. Once the door opens, you have to roll twice, and then you have to stand at the second payphone and look at it, and then very quickly do a sneak run to get past those guys. Just very carefully watch what I did, and you'll get it. Now take that soda can, and we're going to have to do a distraction. I'm going to do it wrong a couple of times, but I'll show you how to do it right. We do want to throw it this way, but we want to throw it as far to the right as possible, because the trick is for the goon that's looking in our direction to get distracted, but not the goon that's looking away. So I mistook it for a failed take. I got it right the first time. Kind of throw the can like I did. The trick is for the one goon that's facing our direction to get distracted and walk away, but the other one that's not facing us doesn't matter. So just very carefully climb onto the crane with the cinder block pallet, and then zipline your way over here, and then we'll rappel, and at the right moment you can jump down to crash through the window. And here's the first guard that we have to knock out, because he has a satchel with a door code. You want to get behind him relatively quickly, but if you're either too slow or you get on his ass without grabbing him quick enough, he can spot you. So just get over here as quick as you can, and then very carefully just quickly sneak up behind him and grab him before he turns around. And then we're going to take him into the corner of the corridor to our right over here. Yeah, this one right here. We'll go ahead and shoot out a light for extra cover. You don't necessarily need to, but we're just going to do it anyway, just to be safe. So yeah, just shoot the light right there. Aim, fire. And then just knock him out in the dark corner. And then take his satchel. Okay, next we will proceed. The door to the right is where the door code will work. It's right there. And as I've said in the past, you could technically sneak past that guy if you know the code in advance, but in my eyes that's cheating, so I'm not doing it. So then we go into this dark room. Just very carefully tiptoe through the glass, and then we can jump into the vent right there. That's going to be our way forward. So yeah, this mission is brutally difficult because it's designed for you to basically knock out almost everyone in your path, which we are obviously not going to do. So just watch what I do very carefully, and I'm going to try to describe things as best as I can. That beginning part where we had to do the double roll and then stand and look at that second payphone from the right, that was hard to explain, for example. So here's how we want to do this part. Just let things happen. Sorry. While these guys are having a conversation, if you exit the room and go immediately to the right, literally hugging the wall, you can get over here into this corner and they won't see you. So no worries there. One of the guys, I think it's the one with the beanie, is going to go into that room where we were, and he's just going to stand and stare out the window. But as long as you're far enough into the corridor, he won't see you, so you don't even have to worry about him. It's the other two guys standing next to the elevator we need to get into to progress that's tricky. So pick up this can, and then the best way I can describe this distraction, you need to be close to the edge of the wall so that they glimpse you, and then you need to throw the can. That way you can distract both of them. As you see, if you just throw the can without them glimpsing you, it doesn't work. You have to be close to the edge so that they catch a glimpse of your arm, I guess, and then throw the can. That should distract both of them. And then they should both walk down this corridor past us so that we can get by. In this particular case, I was cutting it pretty close because they didn't come down the corridor together. In fact, they were very, very far apart, which made it relatively tricky to get by. But I still did it, as you can see. We still pulled it off, so get into the open elevator, and then we can progress. Okay, so this part, the combat music will start, but what you need to do is just very carefully, like, sneak run through, and then once you're here, you can run into this room, and then once you get to the corner, slow down because there's wall mines. Disable the one to the left first. Do not hit the disable action until the light is green. If you do it when it's red, you'll blow up. So go ahead and equip your airfoil rounds for the SC-20K, because we're about to use 2 of them, and then disable the other wall mine. I quick loaded because I wasn't paying attention to whether I did it on the green light or not, but it looks like I did, based on me watching my footage as I record this audio.
I need an encryption.
So then this conversation will happen. He's going to give us the next door code we need verbally, and we're going to have to use 2 of our airfoil rounds to stun the 2 goons that are going to come into this room. They're literally standing at the door out of this room, looking straight this way, so stunning them and running past them is the way to go. So just stun both of them with an airfoil and then run past. Once you're out, very carefully go to the shadows and then slow down once you get here because another wall mine. And then get yourself to the door, put in the door code we just learned, and then here we go. We're going to have to very carefully crawl through this next section. You can shatter this window to enter that way if you want to. It's optional, but it looks cooler. Just very carefully tiptoe through this area because there's wall mines everywhere. And you have to tiptoe around wall mines to prevent them from exploding. Because if you move just a little bit too fast, you're dead. So the timer, if you listen to what the technician said, the mercenaries planted a bomb in the server room on this floor, and we have a limited amount of time to get in there and disarm it, which is what we're doing. Thankfully, the time limit is relatively generous. Sneaking through those corridors is not that difficult. What you do need to do is lockpick this door as quickly as you can, because you have to pop every single tumbler on it. So it's one of the trickier lockpickings in the game, just because it's long and we're on a time limit. But there you go. Now we need to climb over the file cabinet and then disarm the bomb at the end of the room, like so. Sorry. Anyways, proceeding onwards, here's what we want to do next. This auditorium room is relatively easy to get through. There's currently only 2 guys, and they're basically blind. I mean, they'll react if you make noise, but as you'll see, they're literally blind. So, you want to go this way. stay against the railing on the right, and then get yourself into the darkness. And then once you get to the front row of seats, hang a left. And you should be able to just charge straight to this stairwell that goes down to this little mechanical room or whatever. So you'll see there's 3 guys there. One of them is going to stay behind, but the other 2 are going to leave. So we need to hide from them right here and let them pass. So here they come, number 1 and number 2. Just let them go. And here's how we want to do this. There's a breaker that we want to flip at the other end of the room, but there's a guy looking straight at us, and you need to distract him. Alternatively, you could use an airfoil round to stun him, but that's a lot trickier. What you want to do is do a whistle exactly where I did, and then I waited too long. You need to move as soon as he reaches the column. So, once again, do the whistle, and then, as soon as you can, once he's at the column, quickly, without making loud footsteps, get to the breaker, flip it, and then get back here to the corner. We need to hide right here against this generator thing because those 2 guys that ran out are going to come back. And usually at least one of them walks on the right side of the column that's closer to us. So if we're not up against the generator like that, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He could see us if we're not up against this generator and in the shadows as much as possible. So wait for the second guy to come back, and then we can backtrack out of here. Alright, there he goes. Stay as far to the left as possible so that nobody could see you from over there around at the other end of the room. And now, thankfully, that blindness from earlier still applies, so we can get through the auditorium the same way. But you'll notice there's 3 guys now. One of that new guy is in that little box room or whatever. He has a satchel with our next door code, so he is a mandatory knockout. The correct thing to do here is you want to get into the corner of the next door we have to. You want to get to the right-hand corner of the next door we have to get to, and then face the corner and whistle to distract him over there. Now, what I was originally trying to do was shatter the window to distract him, but as you can see, that doesn't work because the other guy comes too. So I tried it again, and it still didn't work. I think I've gotten it to work before, but going into the right, staring into the corner, and then whistling has proven to be more consistent. So here's where, I'm pretty sure this is where I do it. I would say let him start walking back this way. So yeah, face the corner, whistle. That should lure him to the corner, and there's more than enough shadows where you should be able to easily grab him as soon as he reaches the corner we lured him into. So yeah. And then just knock him out in the corner and take his satchel. And I say this every time, I'm able to whistle because I'm playing Enhanced Splinter Cell. Highly recommend it, by the way. So open up the door, and here's a hard part. You want to run and make as much noise as you can in order to distract the 2 guys in this area. Pick up this can. Very important. Pick up the can. You want to hide in that corner to let them pass, but I was trying to gun it to see if I could get past without doing that, but I couldn't do it. So I resorted back to my old strategy of hiding in the corner. So I think I tried again, but I still didn't do it. Yeah, it's too hard. So yeah, like I said, run, run, run. And then I forgot the can this time. Well, actually, no, they saw me because I forgot the can, so I moved too early. So yeah, run, run, run. Pick up the can. And make sure it's the object, not the frag grenade. And then you can hide right here. As long as you've done this correctly, their heads should be orientated towards the direction that we came from, and they shouldn't see you hiding in this corner. It's dark anyway, but if their heads are oriented the other way, they can see you. So you want to do it right. Now, very carefully get into this little infirmary room. You can take a med kit if you want, but just be careful. You'll drop the can if you do, and you don't want to draw his attention yet. Throw the can like that. And what I did was wrong. I tried to move too quickly. If you do this right, he'll stare at the can, and then he'll start walking further down the corridor from the direction we came, which will give us plenty of time to get around. So yeah, just throw the can, let him stare at it, make sure you're in the corner of the room, hidden in darkness, let him go that way, and then we can proceed. Now we've got another guy who's stationary at a computer, but thankfully we've got the trusty whistle to distract him. And if you're playing the vanilla game, you're going to have to do a jump distraction instead, but thankfully we've got the whistle. So whistle right about where I was, and every single time he'll go around the long way, and then we can get on the computer to open the fire door. And before we progress, we're just going to have to hide here. The guy we just distracted is going to have to go back to his computer, and then the previous guy that where we threw the can, his distraction phase is probably going to end. What am I saying? I'm recording this after the fact. There he is right there. He should be patrolling like normal again. We just want him to go back the other way. And then the computer guy needs to go back to the computer, which should be happening now. So once you're able, when the coast is clear, we can carefully get to the fire door, and on we go. Alright, so next part. This is actually not too hard. We do have a mandatory knockout. It's the goon in the restroom that's interrogating Ivan. We have to knock him out. I've actually seen a TikTok or a reel recently that showed me a guy actually getting around that guy without taking him out, but it requires you to skip the dialogue with Ivan, which I don't really like doing that. I don't know, I guess I could do it. In fact, I should try it, but thankfully the guy interrogating Ivan, the enhanced mod obviously considers him a mandatory knockout, so it doesn't count against your score. Now, I know this looks bad, but if you stand on the trash can and jump into the vent, that guy pissing will not see you. So you want to get over to the next vent. This guy is basically scripted to be distracted by your footsteps in the vent. But you want him to hear it because the instant he turns around, we want to very quickly and carefully get behind him and knock him out before he sees us. If done correctly, he'll be knocked out, and he won't have time to detect you.
Yes and no. The police are on the way.
I don't remember what the guy in the video I watched did, but he did some kind of tricky distraction and then bypassed all of Ivan's dialogue to get out of the room before he could ever turn around. So, theoretically, you could get around this guy without knocking him out, but then you'd have to skip Sam Fisher's wonderful dialogue, which I just love listening to Michael Ironside's voice, so I didn't want to skip it. But like I said, this guy is a mandatory knockout that will not affect your stealth score in Enhanced, so no worries there. So once Ivan gives you the encryption key and the dialogue is over, onward we go. The rooftop section is pretty tricky, especially the very, very last thing we have to do. You're going to see me fail it, like, a lot. And I mean a lot. But I will eventually get it right, and I'll describe it as I go. So as soon as we're up here, shoot that light out. And this one, to give yourself a little bit of extra cover. And now we're just going to want to sneak run to get to this stack of drywall here. And then jump over the wall. You should be clear to carefully drop down. Just make sure you drop softly. And then climb the drywall and the cinder blocks. And then up here. And then this part. This part is hard and it's inconsistent. Normally what I would do is stay to the left and reach the left-hand corner of the door, but for some reason as I was recording this, they kept seeing me every single time. I eventually got it to work by stopping, instead of trying to gun it for the corner, I just stayed put in a position where they shouldn't see me. Like, this almost worked, but this jackass had to head turn. And then I basically I went through a phase thinking that I could do it from this side, not remembering that the second guy is gonna turn right into our face. I'll get it right eventually, but I was just confused because my normal consistent strategy was not working for me. Which sucks, but I was eventually, at some point in this lifetime, able to improvise a workaround. This was not it. I think I tried to make hippity hops or across or something to no success.
Tonight's work is some of the worst I've ever done.
I think,
Hey, what is that?
yeah, that almost worked. The alternative strategy that worked for me was stopping about here and then carefully inching forward, like so. Now make sure you have airfoil rounds right now, because this guy is scripted to detect us, but if you stun him with an airfoil round, climb the cinder blocks, and then climb the wall, you can actually prevent him from seeing you. But you gotta do it just right. So yeah, stun him, climb the cinder blocks, and then climb... No, not like that. So yeah. Stun him, up the cinder blocks, and then up the wall. As long as you do it right, this will work, and it will completely cancel out his scripted detection of you. So this first scripted fight that you have to go through, you can skip. Unfortunately, this one you can't. So you're going to have to equip your sticky shockers, and there's 3 guys that we're going to have to subdue. one at the column right here, one up at the window to the far left, and then one right there. It takes a little getting used to aim with these things, but there's only 3 of them, and I think we have like 5 sticky shockers for this level, and this is the only part of the whole level where we have to use them. So you've got leeway. So this next part has to go in a very specific way, so I would say quick save here, but do not save again. I repeat, do not save again until you get past this correctly. What you need to do is you need to haul ass through these side rooms, and you want to get between the paint buckets and the door, and basically what needs to happen is that 2 goons need to like walk into each other. They're gonna like do this like little gun equipped dance. They'll like bug out, and then they'll start walking down the other hallway, giving us the chance to get by. That's why you do not want to save again until you've done that correctly. Basically, just keep trying that until they do that. Like I said, basically what'll happen, that's correct, 2 goons will try to walk through that doorway at the same time. They'll start equipping and unequipping their guns, doing the holster dance, I guess you could call it. And then they'll bug out and walk down the hallway, letting you get by. Alright, now this part. You have to do... Basically, as soon as we see a guy around that corner over there, we're going to do a whistle to distract him. And then we're going to enter this area here. And basically, we need to quickly slip out this next doorway. That guy is going to just barely perceive us, and it's going to distract him. Stay in the shadows. Very important. Make sure you're in the shadows, and then let that guy right there proceed further away. But watch out for the other guy, because if you're not careful, he could see you. But thankfully, we got by, and it worked. Very important to shoot out this light. So shoot it out and then quickly roll into the darkness. This will trigger the cutscene of Junior Wilkes getting ambushed and then killed. And now here's the hard part. And I mean this is hard. We have to make a very specific, precise jump where we have to fling ourselves off the wall, and then we have to grab the ledge of that makeshift helipad to get to extraction. But there's a few things that I failed to do. One of which, the light that's on that wall, you're gonna have to shoot that out first. I'll eventually get it, but I obviously forgot about it during these first few attempts. You also need to watch out for the 2 goons on the scaffolding over there. I don't think their positioning truly matters, but I was thinking it was because I forgot about the damn light. So make sure you shoot out that other light. So that's the jump. I pulled it off right there, but I got caught, as you'll notice, because the score went down to 85%. I'm honestly surprised that these guys aren't considered mandatory. Well, actually, I don't know if you get penalized for knocking these guys out or not. Probably not. But if they actually detect you, it will count against you. So, shooting out the light is very important because that should prevent that from happening. So I pulled off the jump again and got caught again. So I had to quickly cancel out the mission complete screen. And here I remembered to shoot out the light. And it was just a matter of getting the jump right again. And I'm not kidding when I tell you this is beyond precise. I recommend, since you have to create darkness to prevent yourself from being seen, I highly recommend turning your night vision on just so you can see the wall better, but it still doesn't really make it any easier. But one of these days I'll get it. It might be a good idea to try and create an alternate strategy where you can use the scaffolding even if you have to knock out those guys. But that depends on if those knockouts count against you with Splinter Cell Enhanced. If I'm willing to bet that they don't, because this game is pretty good at not counting mandatory knockouts, but I just don't know because I always do it this way. But of course, I had to just struggle with this jump while recording the footage. Because sometimes I'm able to YOLO this jump and I do it just fine. But this was obviously not my best day. So if you're listening to the music, you're probably going crazy because it's a literal broken record right now. And I do apologize. But I'm just trying to emphasize the difficulty of this jump. It is a literal leap of faith. If you making this jump makes you a gaming god. I'm not even kidding. But I'm sure this is more entertaining to most of you, whereas for me it's painful to watch because I'm like, oh my god. And plus, it also makes me relive the memories. Oh man. This jump sucks. It really sucks. But once you get it, man, you're the king of gaming. There you go. I would double check to make sure you didn't get spotted before you climb up all the way. As long as you did it right, 100%. And boy, was it not easy to get. Hopefully I explained things as good as I possibly could. And just watch the gameplay footage precisely if you're more of a visual learner. Alright, see you next time.